Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Whoop, whoop. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Got a real juicy one, crazy hot topics breaking today. And then I have an incredible interview with my girl, Lala Kent, in person right here. Let's get into it. Ellen Degeneres. She said, that's it. It's the end of my show. I just don't find it a challenge to do the show anymore. Many of you immediately wrote me and said, Heather, your prediction was right. When the scandal broke this summer that she was not a pleasant person to work for, I said, well, she's definitely not going to end the show now. She's going to do one more season so that she ends on not the note of the horrible mean boss scandal of the summer. And also, guys, I don't know. Is it time for Juicy Scoop TV? But then you're like, no, you have to keep doing the podcast. I'll never stop doing the podcast, people. But if the masses want me dancing in the aisles and actually giving really good, juicy content on a daily TV show, I'll just have to do what the people want. As Lala would say, give them Heather. So I read a little bit more on Ellen. And interestingly, though, they redid the contract at year 16 for 3 more years. And people said, well, then you'll end on 19. And she said, but what about 20? And she goes, no, 19's a good year too. So in her defense, this was, according to her, always planned to end on year 19. I think it's probably a little bit of both. My other prediction, she and Portia start a podcast out of their mansion in Montecito in 2022. So get ready for that one. Seeking Sister Wife. As we know, Dimitri, after my explosive interview with the original sister wife that was on my show, he had married Cristaline, who was coming from Brazil. She had to escape the home. We don't know where she is. She claimed that there was a domestic dispute and wanted a restraining order. The judge did not grant her one. However, he is filing to divorce her. He never was actually legally married to Ashley, who goes by the name Ashley Snowden, taking his last name. They've never been legally married. So they are getting a divorce. Hopefully that will get her in a safe place, whether that's staying here or going back to her home country. I don't know. But I'm going to follow this. Oh, and I was watching it last night. I'm going to talk more about that on Friday's Patreon. Super juicy. So our boy Colton Underwood, the first virgin bachelor, now the first gay bachelor, he did a really juicy article. I haven't read the whole thing. Just Jared gave me the tidbits here in Variety. And he says that he was actually blackmailed. Here's what I gathered. He had experimented with being gay prior to becoming the Bachelor or going on the Bachelorette originally. He had a fake persona on Grindr. He said he met with guys, he experimented with guys. However, he did not have sex. Now, what does sex mean? Bill Clinton said a blowjob wasn't sex. Other people call a blowjob sex. I'm guessing he just hasn't been penetrated. He's saving that for the Netflix show. Okay, so he, after breaking up with Casey, according, or maybe when he was with her, he was frequenting a gay spa in LA where men would go and see each other. He claims he was just going there to look, not touch anybody, not see anyone, just looking. And apparently somebody wrote him an anonymous email saying, I have photos of you being nude in the spa. Well, if you're just looking, I don't know why you had to be nude. Why wouldn't you have a little towel around your waist? And that is what really, I think, kind of made him spiral out of control. Maybe that's why he was so awful to Cassie and stalking her and freaking out. He sent it to his publicist. And that's when the publicist, I think, then was like, okay, like, what do we want to do here? That was the first the publicist heard that he was gay, by the way. But he trusted his publicist enough. He, I guess, decided, let's make lemonade out of lemons. Why don't you just do this whole Bachelor thing again? but with hot gay guys, which is really what you want, on Netflix. And I think that's really kind of the series of events. I don't know. People didn't want him to continue with the show. Maybe this extra vulnerability of being blackmailed explains why he was so awful to Cassie, which is why people didn't want him to go forward with the Netflix show. They wanted him to suffer more and not be rewarded for his horrible behavior. Again, this might garner some more sympathy and make people want to watch the show, since he had to go look like a little puppy dog, go look at the gay spa. Now he can actually participate. Don't we want that? Like, hasn't he suffered enough? Okay. Real Housewives of New York, second episode. A lot of people said this. It feels like a small cast. It's only 5 people. I kind of agree. I heard another woman comes on a little bit later in the season. We know that Heather of Holla is going to make an appearance on the 3rd episode. Leah is wearing the most horrific outfits I've ever seen. I got a lot of comments on my Juicy Scoop Obsessed page last night of people not enjoying this season. They were falling asleep. They were bored. They missed Dorinda. They don't like Leah's outfits. She seems strange. Right now, she's sober, and she came from a very strict Catholic background. She's now becoming Jewish. If that isn't fishing for a storyline, it's like we saw it. It was on Sex and the City with Charlotte. Okay, whatever. Look at this with the gloves and everything. She decides to go to Ramona's house, and she wants a Burning Man theme party. And Ramona's all game. She's got her new tits out. She put little pasties. She let the cameras come in. Her body does look amazing. But, you know, as someone who's studied Housewives my whole life, I just find the hypocrisy of when she had to get up during that reunion because she was so disgusted that Alex had done some like sexy naked shoot where it wasn't even like vagina or anything in some, I don't know, magazine. She was like, I can't be around it. This is not what I want to be associated with. 12 years later, 64 years old, she's like, yeah, I'll show this body. And I get it. Because once you get to a certain age, you're like, I'm actually 68 and I look this good. Like, you almost just want people to be even more freaked out about how good you look. So I did fall asleep halfway through. I watched the rest this morning. You know, Ebony's there. You know, Ramona's kissing her ass. It doesn't really seem that authentic. We're, of course, going to watch. Let's see where it goes. But it got a lot of complaints. So I'm hoping that it gets stronger and a little more authentic. You guys, before I bring out Lala, I just want to thank you so much for the support of Juicy Scoop. But you guys have to do your Christian service. How do I do that, Heather? You spread the word of Juicy Scoop as you would Jesus Christ. You tell your friends. You go right here where you're listening to the podcast right now. Scroll down. There's 3 dots under you go to details, 3 dots, how to share the episode. Click on copy link. You text that to a friend. You post it on your social media pages. You do a swipe up. You let people know. And then God will reward you for your good service because I bring joy to you. You're going to bring joy to others. And the world works in a beautiful, karma positive way. I appreciate that. And now, you guys, for a super juicy and hilarious interview with Lala Kent. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have a 4-time returning guest, Lala Kent. Today is Tuesday. Did you make the New York Times bestseller list today?
I find out tomorrow.
Oh, you find out tomorrow.
I'm shitting myself.
I think that you're going to get it.
You do?
What category are you? Just nonfiction?
Well, it's depends on where you walk into. It's like I'm in entertainment in Barnes and Noble, then I'm in like autobiographies.
Oh no, but like in the
New York. I don't know.
You're just maybe just nonfiction.
I thought you meant in what section?
No, because I always remember like when people tried to make the list, some people were like, you know, if you make it advice, there isn't as much competition.
Oh. I don't know that. I also don't know how many books that I've sold. You know, this is new territory for me.
Right.
I have no idea what I've sold so far.
It over the years because they used to not count like the Audible, and then they're like, well, you really should count the Audible, and you really should count obviously the real books, but most people read on an iPad. So it's like, I don't know what it is now because it's been a while since I've had a book come out. But
right.
You just walked across the street to Target, all tingling in your sweatpants, and you're
in 80-degree weather.
Yeah, and ready to, you know, give everybody at Target a big thrill. and the book wasn't there.
Hold up, Heather. It's not that the book wasn't there. They took out the book section.
The whole book section's gone.
Right.
That's
Your book wasn't there either.
I don't know that my book ever was there because I remember when I came up with my title for my first book, You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again. They just said, just know, like Walmart and Target might not allow it because the title.
That title is awesome.
And I was like, I'm going to do the title. But then the next book, I was like, no, I really want it in Target. So let's have a more.
So let's take out the blue balls.
So then I just had My Inappropriate Life. But it's not necessarily what the content is in the book. It's like the title couldn't be too sexy.
Oh.
So.
Well, thank God.
So
that
I know your book has been in a lot of Targets because I've seen you. You've been going to Targets. You've been going to Barnes & Nobles.
Yes. And we find out tomorrow if it made the list. And the thing is I want to be able, if I don't make it, which I have to be okay with, obviously, there's nothing I can do. But most people that come out with a book, they get to do a book tour, which I wasn't able to do. And as much as I'll want to blame it on that, because I love to place blame on something, I'll be very sad.
But, okay, not to make about me again,
Tell
but
me.
I made it the second week, not the first.
Oh, that's a
I
thing?
made it the second week, and then I was on for like 5 weeks straight.
Wait, hold on. What's the difference between the first week and the second week? There's no difference?
You just want to make it. But most people only make it the first week because they're so dependent on pre-orders.
Okay.
So you get as many pre-orders as you can because that all counts for the first week.
Okay.
But then they might drop off and never be on again. But like, I think even if you're not on tomorrow, which I think you will be, the momentum of this book, the fact that people are saying it is juicy, I read it, it is juicy. Even though a lot of people have written about it, there's still so much more in it that you just have to read for yourself.
Right.
That I think it's going to have legs, and I think you're going to be on the list, and I think you're going to be on the list for definitely more than a few weeks.
Oh, thank you,
That's my
Heather, because I
prediction.
literally go to bed and have a pit in my stomach.
And you know
because
about my predictions.
your predictions are on point.
Yeah. You know how
On
psychic
point.
I am.
Yeah. I do know that. I know this because I'm a juicy scooper.
I know you are. And oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. Okay. So so there's some things that have come out in other interviews that I actually want to ask you about too. And then I've got my own stuff I want to talk about. Okay, first of all, let's just talk about the wedding that I'm still devastated over because I was invited. It was Pelican Hill. I did get the beautiful invitation. I did buy the dress. COVID happened. And then there was this little hope that maybe it'd be like late in July when there was that moment where it seemed like COVID was over for about 2.5 days. And then it wasn't. And so then it all got pushed back. And then you just got pregnant.
Yeah.
You have your adorable baby, who, by the way, has such a perfect little Lala face.
Does she look like me?
Yes. And she already has arched brows.
I know. Everyone's like, you need to stop putting Botox in your brows. Now I can look at my baby and be like, look, it's a genetic thing.
But I also feel like you could even put do you have any desire to put like even a little bit of like drawing shadow on the eyebrow? Because I always had a real desire to like put mascara on my children's eyelashes.
Oh, no.
I never did it. But like you just kind of like, especially when they get long lashes, you're just like, what would it look like if I did that?
The lashes, definitely. I want to do that too, because my eyelashes suck. And so I look at hers and I'm like, I totally want to have a heyday on those lashes.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want to.
How old is she right now?
She is 8 weeks,
Okay.
which 8 weeks is 2 months, right? But
Right.
I count a month as like the 15th of every month, right? Because she was born
I don't know.
on March 15th. So
Well, I mean,
every
yeah.
month on the 15th, I consider that a month.
Yeah. Okay.
So she'll be a month in a few days.
Okay.
2 months. Yes.
You know what I was thinking about? Because, obviously there's your other castmates have babies. Vanderpump Rules is back. And, I was thinking, will the drama continue, but like with like weird baby shit drama? Like I remember I had a friend and her son was born maybe a week before mine or a week after mine, but we weren't that close. But we
Okay.
had a mutual friend we always talked to.
Yeah.
And I remember I called that mutual friend and I go, Drake hasn't rolled over yet, and I'm like, I'm not going to the doctor's appointment if he did not roll over because he
Right.
should have rolled over by now. You like lazy dead thing, roll over, like. And I just was like, I'm getting a little concerned, And then all of a sudden that friend, the other mother, calls me.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, so how is Drake doing? Oh, he's doing good. She goes, well, I'll just change the name. David. David is just rolling everywhere.
What a
He
bitch.
is rolling. He's rolling. I'm afraid he's going to roll out of the house. He's rolling so much. He's rolling. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Drake just hasn't rolled over yet, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong with my child. And then I find out that friend had expressed to her that
Right.
just shared, not think she was doing anything wrong, that like Drake hadn't rolled over. So I'm like, if Vanderpump Rules starts to become like milestones of the kids, like, my daughter, what can I say? She just can't get enough of asparagus. She says the word asparagus. She's like, asparagus, artichoke. And then it's like, you know, this kid's only eating chicken nuggets. Like, I just...
Oh my God, I hope not.
I don't think it will.
I
don't
like
think
to
it will.
think that my friend group, if someone's kid wasn't rolling over, that my friend would be like, hey, is everything okay? Like, do you need...
Or you just push it with your Gucci slide. Just go, it rolled. You didn't see it, Stassi, but it rolled. Or whoever is over. It rolled.
That girl is a bitch that did that to you.
Oh, I know. We're not friends anymore.
You shouldn't be.
No.
No.
Also, when I went to her place in New York,
Yeah.
she was newly married, and I slept on this little couch. It was only a 2-seater couch, but, you know, New York.
Right.
And she had this beautiful coffee table with all these, like, candlesticks and stuff on it. And I just, like, curled up like that. You know, I'm 5'9", and the way home, I was on a plane, and her other friend who stayed at with a different friend is like, what's wrong? I'm like, my neck hurts so much. You know, I had to sleep on that little love seat. She goes, she didn't pull it out for you? I go, it pulled out into like a queen size bed. And she's like, no. I'm like, oh my God. And then after that is when the rolling controversy happened. And that's where I just drew the line.
I would have drawn the line at not pulling out.
Anyway,
you are
both of our sons are rolling, driving, walking, going to college. It all works out. But I do tell that story because as first-time moms,
I'm so happy you
it
told
just
the
means
story.
nothing, and it like can really. I mean, there's times to be concerned, but there's also times to just like give it a minute. Don't be so on that, you know, track of whatever, because
Right.
every kid is different, you know, and every kid's gonna have like their whatever, their weirdness or goodness.
Well, I think the only thing we've compared so far is like the baby acne. Like
Oh.
everyone keeps talking like, did your baby get baby acne? And I'm like, no, she didn't.
None of my kids
But
got the baby acne.
then,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I didn't jinx it. See, when I say that like something
Yeah.
hasn't happened, I worry that I'm going to get cursed because one little thing popped up on her face today, and I literally was squeezing my tit, putting all the breast milk
On it
in the world on it.
Oh, so that's what you're supposed to do to get rid of it?
Yes, just like spraying her right in the
see,
fucking
now
face.
you guys have what I didn't have, where you can just face tune that shit out.
I feel
And you
too bad. I can't do it. I cannot do it. When I do selfies of us,
Yeah.
and I need a filter, I like try to make sure that her face is more hidden because I just cannot put a filter on her. Or I'll do myself, and then the next video I'll do at her angle with no filter because she doesn't need a filter. And I can't Facetune her shit either. That would make me feel real wrong.
I know. You shouldn't, and I don't think that you will.
Not judging anyone who has.
Oh, I'm judging people who. No, I'm not. Look, do whatever makes you feel good. You know, like I'm just so jealous that I couldn't like pimp out my kid and make money on Instagram like you guys can.
I feel weird about pimping her
Oh,
out.
do
She
it.
has an Instagram account that I left on private. I'm leaving on private. And like when I post pictures of her, I don't give her a tag. It's like, you know, her dad's rich. She doesn't
Yeah.
need to make money on Instagram. That's what I say.
And,
Peter's looking at me like,
my stepdaughter is graduating from college, and she sent me these pictures, and she's so gorgeous in the photos.
yeah?
And I never really tag her because I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I want people following her and stuff. But now I'm going to be like, hey, you want a little extra followers? Like, let me know. Do you want me to tag you? But I mean, she's 21.
Oh, she's grown.
Yeah,
She
but a lot of
wants
people right
followers.
away, they're like, put their kid. But you know, I love that you already have a baby line.
Yes. Give Them Lala Baby launches May 26th. Yeah, everyone was saying, like, your baby has an Instagram.
'cause
Give Them Lala Baby. I'm
okay,
like, honey, that's a business.
So one of my predictions,
Yeah.
only because you were not pregnant first,
Right?
was I said, you know, when Stassi, you know, had to leave the show and all her shit went down with her, you know, them canceling her and all that stuff, I said, look, it's going to be a hard time. She's going to go away. She's going to have that baby. Then she's going to have a baby. She should just have a baby line, have a baby clothing line. And someone wrote, and they're like, oh my God. They took a photo of your thing, and they're like, Lala beat it to her. But Lala beat her to it. Not that she can't have her own too, but you did do what you should do.
Right. Well,
why not?
Even when I got on the show, it was like the first thing I thought of was I need to start some sort of business that when I'm off of this show can be like my money maker, you know, because this isn't going to last forever. And that's when I started Give Them Lala Beauty, which we are, you know, I thought I was going to be flying around on my own private jet like Kylie Jenner at this point.
Okay.
It's not happening, you know, but the brand is a successful brand, you know? So even though I'm not on my own private jet yet, it does make money. And that like fuel, it's what makes me independent of Randall, where I can go out into the world and feel like, okay, I'm good on my own. And
no, you
my
were
friend,
smart. You took advantage of that's the thing. You got to take advantage of every opportunity, and the opportunities come when you're busy and you actually don't need those opportunities. You're actually like, oh, I'm on a show. I'm doing great. No, that's when you do write the book. That is when you do start, you know,
keep the momentum
some
going
stuff and get some stuff going.
Right.
Because no one cares when it's over.
I know. Give Them Lala Baby. My best friend from back home, actually, Ocean's godmom, her brother has a baby line. He approached me and said, I think you should do this. I said, I don't have kids and I'm not pregnant, but when that happens, let's get it popping. When I found out I was pregnant and my baby was healthy and we were good, I said, let's start. Let's do it. So here we are, launching May 26th.
That's awesome.
And the quality is awesome. They're so cute. And I'm like, this is so fun because I get to just play dress up with Ocean and Give Them Lala Baby all day.
I love it.
Thanks.
And I gave you a Juicy Scoop onesie.
So cute, which can I tell you?
Yeah.
Randall opened it and put it in the drawer of her onesies. That's how I missed it.
Oh, okay. No. I'm just glad it's like there.
No, she asked me, did you get my gift? I was like, I didn't get a gift from you. And then I'm talking to Randall. By the way, I'm sending out thank you cards. I just really suck at that. I suck at it.
You just said thank you.
I know, but it's so tacky.
No,
and I didn't want to send a text.
I literally every time I normally when I give people baby gifts, I go and do not write me a thank you note. Don't look up my address. Don't look for a stamp.
Okay.
Don't.
Well, I love you. Thank you so much. That's the reason.
I know that's a classy thing to do, but it's just like such a burden. Like of another thing that you don't need to do.
Well, my mom puts the pressure on me. She's like, "Did you write the thank you cards yet?" I'm like, "No, Mom, I didn't. No. Can you write them for me?" Thank you. But that's why I didn't see it because Randall opened it and put it in her drawer, which is the most he's done in this entire time.
Oh, stop.
I know. No, he's great. It's only when it comes to like the diaper changing that he aborts missions so fast.
Oh, he's not into that?
Oh, no.
I actually love changing diapers.
You do?
Like even other people's babies.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't mind it.
Oh, you don't mind it?
I just don't mind it at all. Like,
it's not like you enjoy it. It's not like I could really change a baby diaper
But
right
like
now.
I have a friend that's like, I remember you came over and you were like, I'll do it. And she was like, you're like the only friend. I'm like, I just don't mind. I don't know. Something so satisfying about like cleaning it all up.
You're right.
And then like letting them breathe a little and then they're like happy. And then like you do like a little puff of the talcum powder. I don't know if they still do that. They probably don't anymore. Do you do a little powder or no?
No, I only do Aquaphor.
Oh, that's good. Aquaphor's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into the juice.
That,
no one wants to hear about this. No. Let's hear about the juice. Okay. I was getting right to it. You were on Wendy Williams.
Yes.
And who I love. And she's like, what's up with the wedding? Mm-hmm. And I've heard you say to other people, 2022, well, now it's like a third of America's been vaccinated. I think you could probably plan something, pretty soon and it would go off like full capacity, whatever. But, just please run the date by me first because I have a lot of stand-up coming up and I do not want to miss it. Okay.
I don't want you to miss it.
I'd be pretty pissed. Anyway. But then you said, I don't know, Wendy. Like, we have a child together. We have a home together. What's a piece of paper? And I just don't like that answer.
What don't you like about it? Tell me. That you can't wear the dress. I know.
No,
but
it's not about me.
No, but Randall keeps saying, I want to walk down the aisle. I want to have our friends there. And I'm like, that's the wedding. You're talking about the wedding. I'm talking about the marriage certificate.
Okay.
Is it needed.
Yes, it is.
My
and I'm going to tell you why.
okay,
But go ahead.
my biggest fear
Yes.
is that if either of us at any point in time, which we don't want this, I'm just saying, shit happens. If we want to get the fuck out, I just want to be able to be like, have a good one.
Okay, but you're going to want that.
Why? But I'm
Everybody
gonna-
does.
I know. So why?
But that's why you get married. Because it
To
makes
make it
you,
harder?
No, it makes you work a little bit harder before you say, let's get the fuck out.
Okay.
If I was able to just get the fuck out anytime I wanted to,
You'd be going a lot of times.
Everything's all arranged. Nothing's tied
Wait,
up.
I've
We already have
never thought of it
Yeah.
like that.
No, and it's the only contract that's made with society in mind. Everything is a contract. This is a promise to basically society that you're going to stay together to the best of your ability.
Okay.
And without it, you will. Believe me, there'll be times when when you want to get out.
Okay.
And if you can still make it, I love that you got a prenup because you've got your own business. He has his previous stuff.
I remember Bethany Frankel. I remember Bethany Frankel quite well. You saw what happened to her?
Oh,
so
what a nightmare.
right.
No.
So I also
Yeah.
get nervous.
No, everyone should have, especially when you're both established, have the prenup because it will make, if that moment comes, easier.
Okay.
You shouldn't, some people stay because they're financially tied or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, wait, it'll be a fair whatever, and we'll be fair to share the child. But by having the marriage and by making that commitment, it is really saying to each other, I want to be babysitting grandkids with you. That is my goal. That's what I want. And that's why we do this. Now, yes, there's, the Goldie Hawn and all that. And that's fine.
Right.
But it's just something to consider. Like, why
you
is there a marriage? That is why.
You
Because
single-handedly just talked me back into it. 2022, it's fucking on. Let's do it.
Also, you boned on the first date. And you know who
Yes.
also boned on the first date?
Who?
The best married couple I know.
Who?
Dr. Drew and Susan Pinsky.
Really?
30 years of marriage, still super sexual,
Love it.
super fun. I thought we were going to have an OC swinger situation. We spent the night at their place, but it wasn't. She finally just was like, I'm tired. And we're like, okay, bye. We just all went to bed. But but I'm just saying, and so that's the way I
Okay.
feel about it.
All right. Wow. You are convincing as shit.
I'm not going to wear the dress I originally bought.
Oh, I'm not wearing the dress that
And
I
want-
originally
and I
got
want to
either.
lose some pounds, so I'm glad it's not around the
So
corner.
can I tell you what happened with my dress, and then we can move on to
Yes,
some
no,
juicy
please do.
shit?
Yeah.
I meet with Zach Posen, right?
Yes.
We have I'm dead set that he's gonna do my dress.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he closed his doors. Things happened. I was
Because
devastated.
because of the pandemic or for
This
another
was
reason?
before. I don't remember exactly why he closed
Okay.
his doors. He's still designing, but Zach Posen, those
Right.
doors were closed.
Yes.
So I work with my girl who styles me on a new dress, whatever. We take it to Pronovius.
Yeah.
When the wedding happens to be postponed, they have mass produced my dress and put it on their Instagram.
So now everyone could have it? So then what did you do?
Oh, I commented. I said, you're going to have an issue. This is my dress and my design. And they went above and beyond to make it right, took it off the Instagram page. But it was you took it away from me. That you posted my dress.
So that
you have over
also
2 million followers.
And so that also added you just to be like, it's not meant to be, Randall.
Exactly. I was out of everything, if you would have given me two choices, your wedding's going to be canceled because of a worldwide pandemic or you guys just don't fuck with each other anymore, I'd be like, we just don't fuck with each other anymore.
Yeah.
There's no way the other one's going to happen.
Right.
So I'm sitting here going, this is really strange.
Yeah.
But, everything in our relationship has been, we've had to, fight for us
And
for a while.
There's
so.
some juice in there. And so, wait, okay, now let me remember the last time we really hung out was at the BravoCon.
Yeah.
That was so fun. And so now we can talk about this because it's I guess I couldn't talk about it because I was like, oh, I don't know what's going to appear. But there was some shit between you and Stassi.
Yeah.
About the all-white wedding.
Yes.
And I said, oh, that's coming back because that same girl, oh my God, I didn't even think about this before. The same girl that didn't pull out the couch, she got married in 1997. And she was the first person I heard that was going to do the all-white wedding.
Okay.
Her mom wore white. All of us wore white, all the bridesmaids. And so you go, I'm going to do this all-white wedding.
Right.
And I go, oh, that's coming back? That was like in style like 20 years ago.
Right.
And you said, but Stassi also wanted to do the all-white wedding. And so at that time, you guys were like being nice backstage, but there was something going on.
Yeah, there
Can you
was
speak
something
about
going
it now
on.
That
That
now
was
that
our-
you both
yeah.
didn't have these white
Now that
weddings.
we didn't even have to worry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
That was our bride wars moment. Was we had a conversation
Yeah.
about all white wedding. And Stassi was like, that's what I'm doing. And I said, that's what my stylist wants to do because I don't like I don't dig clothing. I don't dig getting dressed. I'm happy in sweatpants. So I kind of just hand that off to Alex, the stylist.
Okay.
I said, that's what my stylist wants to do.
Right.
But I'll be damned if everyone shows up and on my day in that. Well, to a normal person like Stassi, and even looking back, you'd be like, she's not doing white. She just said she'd be damned if that happens. But in my
Stassi
mind,
said I'd be damned if
I
everyone
said this. So in Stassi's mind, she's thinking,
oh,
oh,
I like that idea. And
she's
not
going to
gonna
go
use
and do it.
Yeah.
She's going to go and do it.
Stassi's going to do it. Okay, yeah.
Right. But I still was like,
Deciding.
if Alex decides to do my wedding in all white, like I'll deal with it because she's a fucking stylist and she knows what she's doing.
Okay.
And it could be chic. Stassi lost her goddamn mind.
So how did she find out that you did now want to go forward with the all-white wedding?
I believe that Alex had told her, and Stassi and Katie cornered Alex in Stassi's hotel room at BravoCon. And they were like, I wasn't there. All I know is Alex comes to my room after, kid on her hip asleep, and she was like, you will never fucking guess what just happened. Like, they are not allowing you to have white bridesmaids dresses. And I was like, what the fuck? You have like a baby with you right now. Like, why would they choose that moment to harass you about this? The whole thing was awesome. Looking back on it.
Yeah.
But we were going toes. Randall had to calm us down.
Yeah, because I was sitting in the room and you're like, there's something about the white wedding. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And like everyone's just sitting there. And then somehow like I saw you guys and then I'm like in the room.
Feeling
and I'm
awkward?
Like, and I just know how like Bravo fans just have been like, again, Heather's inserting herself. Like, I'm just like everywhere because I was like, I just get lucky like that. Like, I literally was in like the VIP like section when Sheena was doing her song at the party. And people are like
So
filming
awkward.
like, where's Waldo? There she is again. Like, just, it was like, but here I'm like watching this go down. And
I
I'm kinda
actually left Stassi like a voice memo the other day, and I was like, you want to know what I'm thinking about? Is when we battled it out over white bridesmaids dresses, and now just like neither of us got married and even had to worry about
she
it.
did get married.
Well, I mean, like
She
we
got
didn't,
married. Like,
she
in
did
a
get
backyard
married
or whatever. Yeah.
in Katie's backyard.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And oh my God, amazing. Okay, well God, there's so much. Okay, let's just kind of go through the book and then we have like general questions.
Okay.
I love the hoe phase first chapter and what a hoe phase is about and how you're like, I'm just gonna have this little hoe phase, you know? And I love that you now I did not go through a hoe phase.
Oh, okay.
And I regret it.
Yeah.
And I, you know, but you said it perfectly. Like, protect yourself, protect your heart. Though that's hard to do because everyone thinks they're Kim Cattrall.
Right.
Very few people are. Once you start to have a booty call or whatever, you start to like the person.
Of course.
It's in our DNA different than a man. So I loved that whole thing. And then you just told the stories because those are fun, juicy stories. We all love like the dating stories. We all see the kind of shitty LA apartment with the burgundy tile. I mean, I know exactly what kind of a place you're talking about.
Right.
Those kind of apartments, you know, and you're just like, and then just
Gross.
no one buys toilet paper. No one buys paper towels. Like I was just at my daughter's place and I'm like, all right, here's your lucky day. We're going to fucking Target.
Yeah.
I mean, you want a lamp, you want a mop, like, come on.
The
Like,
best.
Yeah. So we go, she just came here the other day to help. And I go, I'm going to Target. You need anything? She goes, I just think I need some toilet paper. Well, you finally is smart. She got a toilet paper thing where I go, $15. What's your asshole doing? I'm like, well, good. I go, are you going to be selling this to your friends or giving it away as like graduation gifts? But I'm like, whatever. I'm glad to do it.
Right.
But I loved all of that. And just like your funny stories about that. But Carter, Oh, that Carter.
I know.
And he was a heartbreaker.
He was.
And I think one of my favorite parts of the book is when you go back and forth with this boyfriend that you've had. You're going to LA, you're coming back to LA, he's da-da-da-da-da. And then finally you start talking again, and you are really excited to see him. This
Right.
is your boyfriend, your lover, you're ready to meet him in his place and get a nice bone on, ready to have some fun. And like the bed is made up, but there's 2 hoop earrings and a used condom. And you're like, dude, why can't you just like try a little to lie to me?
Right.
Like, I can't unsee
Yeah, it was used. It was disgusting. It was just disgusting. And it was like, here's the type of person I am.
Yeah.
Talk behind my back.
Yes.
I don't care. If I don't know what's going on, it doesn't exist. So if you're fucking other girls, throw the condom away.
Yeah.
At least pretend.
Put the hoops in the drawer.
Oh, but they were his sisters, Heather.
Oh, okay.
They were his sisters' hoops.
And then was the condoms a friend? Whose was the condom?
Obviously his.
I know, but what was the excuse for that?
I don't think there was one. I
But
kind of
also,
browned
it's like,
out.
Oh my God, dude. Like, now you ruined my boning afternoon. Like, I wanted to bone, and now I saw this.
Yeah.
And now I can't live with myself and act like I didn't see it. So you're like, you get all Lala mad. And then you go outside.
You want to know what, Heather?
Yeah.
I didn't get Lala mad.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't become Lala until I got on, like, where I bossed up like that.
Yeah.
I was beyond hurt by him. I was so, like, I did not boss up to him ever. I found my voice after I got onto Vanderpump Rules because I kind of had to find it. Like, I had it back in Utah with people that would bully me, but when it came to boys,
Yeah.
I was sensitive. I had a boyfriend throughout my entire time in high school, my high school sweetheart, and I decided to fall into a hoe phase because of this Carter person, where it was like, if you're going to do it, then I'm going to see if I can do it to kind of heal my heart. So I sobbed and I left. I did not boss up to him at all.
Well, one thing you said interesting in the book is you said, and I sat there in my car crying, like waiting. Where is he running back to beg me? And it was like, you said, he's showing me who he is, which is my favorite Maya Angelou quote, is when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I think oftentimes, we all love to read books. Women love to read books and love to hear stories and love to talk about relationships. How many guys do you know that's like, you know what, I can't wait to read Joe Schmo's book about all the times his heart was broken and his, the relationships that guys don't read it.
No.
They don't care. But they also know, like, I love when people go, I just feel like so many times guys don't break up with girls, but they do this bad behavior.
Right.
Because they're like, just do it for me. I don't know why they have such a hard time breaking up with people. It's like, they just want to be like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not good enough for you. Don't you see that? Like, and even if they're not consciously doing it, I think that's something that women need to be more aware of.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think I liked the thought of him more than I actually liked him. He was super fine. Super fine. Yeah, Peter, he was hot. And he was a football player. He played for USC. Like, I just liked the thought of all of it.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been easier had he not been this, like, in my mind, he was on a pedestal and he was, like, not falling off anytime soon. Now that I'm older, if you're, like, shitty, then I don't want to be around you.
And then I also love that you would, like, go to visit him, get on a plane, this whole stuff, and then you'd be cheering them, and then they'd win. And then you'd be like, oh, hey, I'm just going to go out with my boys. And you go, you do you, boo. You played so great. And I'm like, I'm a cool girlfriend. Cool girl. And it's like, again, that's another warning I'd like to warn people about.
I know.
Don't pretend that you're a cool girlfriend, if that means cool about them not making you a priority or going out with their friends when they can go out with their friends the night that you're not there,
Right.
like, but also I always say that too, like, don't act like you like camping if you don't.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're, Miss Athletic, Miss Sportsy girl.
Right.
Like, be honest about it, because then you're like stuck in this weird situation in a tent.
I know. And that was, yes, I know what you mean. With Rand, that was the first time that I was like, wow, he's the busiest person that I know.
Yeah.
And he still answers my phone calls.
Yeah.
when he's in meetings just to hear me bitch about how the gardener maybe didn't,
Yeah.
blow the leaves properly. He listens and acts like he cares.
Okay.
So when my friends come to me and they're like, he's really busy, he's trying to start his company. I'm like, no. He just doesn't want to be around you. But Randall taught me that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was like before. I made all of these excuses for these dudes until Randall came into the picture.
I remember when my sister met her husband, which, by the way, I'll say they also have an incredible marriage. And we were roommates together in college, and she was a lawyer, and she met him. And before he asked her to marry him, but she was like, he's the one or whatever. I was like, here we had dated so many guys that, we liked, that blew us off, that we blew off, that so I was like, how do you know he's the one? We're like in our late 20s. And she goes, because it's easy.
Right.
It was easy. She goes, I don't wonder if he's going to call me or if he's going to blow me off when we made a plan or. I don't.
Right.
Of course, we're gonna get together this week. Like all of a sudden, when it just starts to happen like that, and it isn't this game playing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the guy will do all that when they like you enough.
Yes, they'll find time in their schedule.
Absolutely.
And any free time, they're gonna fill that spot with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so. Oh my God, there's so many things I want to talk about here. I do like when you talk about in Vanderpump Rules that I forget because there's so many, so many years of it and we haven't seen it in so long, is that Stassi and Katie and Kristen were so mean to you at the time because they didn't know what your deal was. And I was like, oh, that's where the witches of West Toe came from.
Yeah.
Because how when they had that short-lived wine thing, they called themselves the witches. Because I didn't realize they were like a little trio of like OG Mean Girls to the new people. Yeah.
And I had to go back and watch old episodes to take me back to that place because we're very close now that I couldn't imagine me talking to them that way and vice versa.
You're all so close. Yeah.
Right. So I had to go back and watch these episodes, which I'm not over. I was mortified by some of my behavior. I'm like, I wanted to tell myself to like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but it was like kind of juicy because you show up and you did go on some trip or something. And so they're all like, oh, I think she's like a hooker or whatever. And I immediately sought you out to come on the show because I was like, oh, this chick's like a hooker light. She's going on yachts and shit. This is my favorite thing to talk about. So the first time you came on, you brought your friend, their actress friend.
Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so her name is Madison in the book. You keep her real name.
Anyone that I was nice about, I kept their name.
Me too.
Yeah, anyone that I was kind of dragging or that I just didn't fuck with like that anymore was getting a name change.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was like, tell me how this works and everything to get on these trips and what do you have to do? And so that was pretty juicy. Basically,
what did I say I had to do?
Basically, it's what I've heard from a lot of people. It's you get invited once.
Yes.
And but if you don't fuck, you're not invited again. And you better know the rules because if you don't fuck, you also might be just like dropped off in some weird place. So you have to be very careful that you're going as a fun delight, eye candy, and nothing else is expected. And if you like someone, you like somebody, and if you don't, you don't. But just know that if you don't like anybody, chances are that boat's not picking you up for another trip next year.
You know what, though? I always knew what girls were putting out because their personalities sucked. I'm like, you're hot, but like watching paint dry is more interesting than talking to you. You got to be spreading your legs. And then you knew the girls who were fun and they had dreams and goals. Like they didn't come out to LA to just be on yachts. It was like, had a free weekend, thought this would be fun.
Right.
I kind of like fell in the middle. It was like, is there a lot of alcohol on this fucking yacht? That's where you're going to find me.
Yeah.
I will go there.
Right.
But I was not good at just like, I had a hoe phase, but I had to be down for you to fuck.
Right. Yeah.
I wasn't just like,
you weren't doing it for bags and Gucci slides.
No. And I definitely wasn't doing it even if you were like an A-list celebrity. It was like, if I'm not down, I'm just not down.
Yeah.
So I like to say I got invited because of my epic personality, but who the fuck knows?
I think you're well then when you didn't put out, Did you get invited a lot of times after that?
You know what? I still got invited, but I met Randall shortly after I moved to LA. So I was going on yachts with someone I actually cared about.
And let's get into the Randall fun. Okay. So I love the story of Randall. You've told on my story. Oh, but before, so you had to keep the Randall thing. You're keeping it secret because even though he was officially separated and going through divorce, he just thought it would be bad if it was like out that he had a current girlfriend. And he told me that too. So he was just like, has to be quiet. But then everybody started these rumors like, oh, she's got some rich older, married producer guy. And on my show, you're like, I can't talk about him. I can't talk about him. And then all of a sudden you said, well, then when Rand, and everyone's like, she just said Rand.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like my detectives were like, and by that time people had put together that there is this guy Randall that, and then in the book you talk about how you got the tattoo of R.E. and you're like, oh, those are my grandparents' names. I was like, why did you just say real estate? I'm very into real estate. It's just,
I love a good property.
Yeah. And then, but I got that too of like then why you were so mad because it was like Katie then who got the info that you were seeing this person and put it out there. And then that complicated your life because the producers were like, this is some juicy shit.
Right.
We want to know about it. But yet you promised Randall, but like you love Randall, but this is your job. And you were like, it's so much to keep track. And that's why then you and Katie, why you then lashed out at her.
Yes.
And so that all was very interesting in the book. I like anyone, even if you're not into the Vanderpump, you explain it really well. Or if you didn't watch every season and it makes you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Because it's something, as you're watching it, I always say that. Like sometimes when there's fights between housewives and things, and they make it that, someone wasn't seated at the good table or whatever. And you're like, no.
So much deeper than that.
It's because they were supposed to do an appearance at Mohegan Sun. And one bitch booted the other one out of 10 grand.
Yeah.
While they weren't filming. And that's why the problem. Like, it's always it's other stuff.
It's always a build-up.
Yeah.
But I love reality TV.
Yeah.
Like, I dig it all. I'm like, let's pretend like we're mad about this one thing, even though, bitch, you know why I'm pissed at you. Which let's get to the famous, it's about the pasta. Yes.
So you guys go out to eat, and everybody thought when you were screaming and he was screaming, it's not about the pasta. So for the people that don't know, Lala and James go out to eat. And who was the other friend that was with you?
Logan, my husband.
He was there.
He was there. And go out, and there was, I'm just going to say a rumor. There was a rumor that at one point, Logan and James has a long-term girlfriend. He also had a night with you, right? Mm-hmm. Which I just that little skinny body, but whatever. I forgive you. Okay, so, but I love him. I think he's so entertaining. And I like the music you guys make together, but whatever. So you guys go out to eat, and the cameras are there, and it's like, you have your marching orders to like bring up, like, is this rumor true? But then you like decide not to. And so then you just start joking about something, and you're like, oh, I ate all of Raquel's pasta. Right.
And then he's buzzed, and he starts getting really mean and attacking you and your relationship. And then you run out, and he's screaming, it's not about the pasta. And the internet goes crazy, and they're like, no, it's that Lala did all of Raquel's cocaine. And pasta is code for cocaine. And I was like,
did all of Raquel's
that makes
cocaine.
sense.
It makes way more sense.
Yeah, like,
I mean, it's way juicier. But okay, I've never done blow in my life, by the way.
Neither have I. We've bonded over the fact that
we've bonded over this many times.
Now, why have you never chosen to do a line? Because obviously a girl like you on yachts, in Gucci slides, has been offered more than one line in your life.
Okay, there's two reasons. Number one, it's like I've always looked at it and watched people do it with their... It's just like so gross to me. Okay. I look at it and I'm like, that looks not good. No, I'm not into it. And like I've never heard anyone be like, my life really got great when I started doing cocaine. Like I've just never heard someone say that.
I have.
Really?
In the
Who?
first third of every cocaine genre movie. You can talk about Randall about this. One of my favorite genres of movies is just cocaine-driven movies.
You're intrigued by
I
it?
love cocaine-driven movies, like rich cocaine, like we're at the parties. I'm a model. Life's going great, and then by the second half of the movie, I'm like, oh, well, I just was always just loved the first part,
Yeah.
like even that movie 28 Days, where Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Like the first part of that movie when she gets so wasted at the wedding and falls on that cake as if they'd be bringing a cake across the place. Like the cake is always set, but whatever. I love that movie. When that movie's out, I watch it till she runs over the little jockey
Right.
on the lawn. Then I'm like, now she's going to rehab. It's depressing. But the party of her what? I love it. And that's the way I feel about the kid. So I was always like, oh, I love a cocaine movie. It's
Yeah.
I chose to go to USC because I loved the movie Less Than Zero, which they were doing lots of cocaine and going to USC. And I was like, that sounds fun. But I knew I could also never do it.
Right.
Because of the second halves of the cocaine movies. I didn't want that to happen to me. And I thought, anything that's
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
No one goes,
Right.
Life really just started popping off when I started
It's
doing
because-
blow.
And also, it's I knew that'd be something that I'd like.
Me too. I would
Talk a lot,
drunkenly.
curb your appetite, can go all night,
So fun, right? Like, it sounds awesome.
skinny. Yeah.
But people would ask me, why I've never done it. And I would be shit-faced, okay? I'd be like, I just have a really addictive personality, and I'm afraid I'll be really into it. It's like, honey, you're, really into you need serious AA meetings.
Yeah.
So that's why I never did it.
Yeah.
Or anything else. I did mushrooms one time, and I just sobbed looking at this tree because I couldn't believe it was giving me life.
I did mushrooms once
How'd you feel
at a
about
pool
it?
party in Northridge. I was about
Fun,
24.
right?
I had
Was
a
it
black
fun?
romper on from Express. And I swam in the pool the whole time in the romper. I was doing back dives at a diving board back in the day before they said that's illegal. I was swimming, and then I had to go drive in the back of this guy's car freezing all the way back to Brentwood. And then the guy was definitely thought he was going to get laid. This girl was just doing backflips all night. And then I'm like, okay, he lived in the apartment. I'm like, okay, come back up or whatever. And then I'm like, what the fuck? That guy's a weirdo. I don't like. Then the mushrooms wore off. I took off my romper. I locked the door. And I couldn't. The guy was pounding for so long. It was terrifying.
Gosh.
So that was the last time I had mushrooms. The one and only time I had
Heather, I'm going to
mushrooms.
be honest with you. I don't think there's anybody who makes me laugh like you do. I could just sit here and have you talk this entire interview.
Well, no, I want to get you
know?
to talk.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about what a nightmare of a girlfriend you were to Randall.
Why did he stick around?
Oh my God. I mean, if he shared
was-
any of those stories with anybody, they must have been run for the frickin' hills.
Oh, I think they were. And he was batshit crazy, just like I was. And I think he was like, no, I feel like she's going to make a great wife and mom.
I mean, so
No,
when you were having all these, okay, some of the fights were just epic. And they always involved, obviously, a lot of drinking.
Yes.
And a lot of people have been there that it's such a fun night.
Yes.
It always starts out the most fun when you just have that first drink when you're getting cute.
It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
I still say that.
The first cocktail, the first drink, maybe while you're doing your hair, or maybe the first drink when you take the first photos, okay? Then you go to the restaurant, then you eat a little. Now you're like, I don't even want, why did I order that fish? The appetizer was enough. Then you keep drinking, and you keep drinking, then you keep drinking. And then all of a sudden you get to that place where it's you know what? So one of the fights was, oh my God, you destroyed so much property. So I like the story about what hotel were you at when you took you took the duffel bag and you put in the bathtub to get it all drenched.
Right.
Then you somehow lifted the heavy duffel bag and threw it
I
off the
became
balcony.
the Hulk when I was drinking. I really did.
How heavy was that?
It was fucking heavy. But when your adrenaline gets pumping, I could have thrown all the furniture out the window too. There's something about me when I have alcohol, vodka turns me into
And so you
know?
throw that off.
yes, out the window.
And
17 stories.
thank God it didn't fall on someone's head.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for a lot of things during my drinking.
And so then this is what I love. So then the cops come and you're like, oh, we're just role playing, real hot night ahead of us. Sorry. I love that you lie and do so many funny things, because you said in another interview that to teach Randall a lesson, because he leaves his shoes out, that you literally wrapped your ankle and was like, I fell on your shoe. Like, I hope he listens to this because I want him to know that was a bullshit.
Hey, listen, can I tell you, the amount of times he Googles my name a day is depressing.
He does a lot? That's so flattering.
Beyond.
So does he know that was a fake ankle thing now?
Yeah, well, because, yes, he knows now because I think an article was written about it.
Okay, but you kept it going.
Yes, I needed to teach him a lesson. That if you leave your shoes out in the middle of the floor, something's going to happen. So he's kept doing it. So I had to take drastic measures, and something happened. I fell.
Well, Peter will get out of the shower, and even though we have a mat there, he still lets it get, and it gets very slippery. And I have slipped before, but I slipped before, and there was nobody around, no witnesses. So then the next time it happened, I did fake a fall.
Yeah. See, we have to do
and
these
I was like,
things.
oh my God, I could have been crippled. You know.
I can't breathe.
And I'm like, but then I think, but then if I was crippled, I could still do the podcast. So he's probably like, you're fine. Like, we have a 1-story house. We can widen the hallways.
The amount of fur that Randall has on his body that I shave, okay? So when people say, she's with him for his money, it's like, bitch, you have no idea what goes down in our bathroom. You have no idea, okay? I go in. And he's like, so he drips a lot of water. When he gets out of the shower, I'm like, could you dry yourself off?
No, but that's really dangerous if you slip.
It's very dangerous. Yeah. I know. That's why I pretended.
Well, let me tell you more of these stories, and then you'll only be on Randall's side. Okay, so I can't. Okay, so then you go looking for the bag, which cannot be found.
No.
And now you have to leave the hotel and get on a plane. And he has no shoes.
Or clothes.
So what did you do? Tell them.
I went downstairs to the gift shop, which they didn't have one. So I went to the spa and said, do you have, like, sandals, slippers? And they said, women's. And I said, I need your biggest size.
So wait, were you private, or did you have to go through a normal LAX with the slippers, with the female slippers?
Oh, thank God. Well, we went private, but you still had to, like, make an appearance. You know, it definitely wasn't. And he had on a bathrobe. He had on a bathrobe.
Oh, because he had no clothes.
I hucked his clothes. He didn't even have a wallet. I threw that overboard, too.
And so then the next day, he's just like... You just like give him a kiss or have sex with him, and then that's the end of it?
That night we made up. And the next morning we were like laughing in the car. But you know, after a lot of times like that, it's like, okay, this is bullshit. You know?
Well, my favorite one, just for a visual effect, which you described it well in your book, was another fun night out in Miami. And we've been to that nightclub, the Live in Fontainebleau.
Yes.
And I went there one night with, we were doing Leah Black. Do you know who Leah Black is from Real Housewives of Miami?
Yes.
She had a big event.
Okay.
And I was so excited to be invited to anything. So I'm like, oh my God, they're flying us out there, you know, and I have to do stand-up for this big fancy ball. And it's like Lil Wayne and me. Like, it made no sense. And, like, Joe Francis had some connection to Lil Wayne. So he brings Lil Wayne. And, like, Lil Wayne was at the hospital or something right before he came. And they're like, we don't know if we can get Lil Wayne. Can you do more impressions? I'm like, for these, like, Miami billionaires, I'm like, what? Who's talking? Like, no one's listening. It's awful. And, like, Lil Wayne, then finally he shows up and he's like, take me to the candy shop or whatever
That's
that song
50 Cent.
Oh, not candy shop. What was it?
Lollipop.
Lollipop. I knew it was a sweet.
It's Lollipop. How funny you're telling the story because
sweet.
I lost my virginity to that song. I write that in the book. To a red
that's
condom.
nice.
Yeah, keep going about Lil Wayne.
So Lil Wayne, so then we were at that nightclub. So you're at that nightclub and you guys are talking to another couple, as people do, and the girl is like touching your leg and feeling you up or whatever. And Randall's like, okay, let's wrap up the night.
Okay, can I tell you though, because he knows that I've hooked up with chicks before.
Right.
And this girl was not like rubbing my leg. When girls are talking, you know how they like touch and
yeah,
like, and it's loud in the club, so they're like, you become more touchy because
right.
it's like that's how you're interacting.
Yeah.
And he just like was not into it. And many of our fights started because I felt like he was trying to ruin my good time. That's how every fight starts, is I'm hammered, living my best life, think I totally have it pulled together, and all he would say is, I think you need to, like, slow it down. And it was like I would get enraged just with all the anger in the world. So, yes, this night I felt like he was trying to stifle my fun. He thought I was, like, drinking too much, going to eat this girl's cookie. That was not going to happen. Yeah. That's how it started.
When you said that you ate Ariana's cookie in the back of the car, and that was in the show, it was featured in the show. And so when you go, oh, I've gotten together with girls, but I'm not bisexual. Well, how do you even know how to do that?
I'm not quite sure that I even do.
You don't think you were great?
I mean, I have no idea. Maybe I was horrible. It's not like, I know I'm great at blowjobs because I have them coming back for more.
Yeah, return customers.
Right?
Yeah.
But with that down there, it's like I have one, but like I'm not quite sure what to do with it.
I remember one of your lines where you had big hoop earrings on, and you say, you know what they say, the bigger the hoop, the better the blowjob. And someone's like, no one's ever said that.
No one's ever said that.
And then, by the way, I'm like,
that's why.
And sadly, your hoops are not that big today. So
right now?
Sadly,
my blowjobs have gone down to a minimum.
I'm thinking they've gone down a little bit in frequency.
Oh my gosh, Randall asked me the other night, he's like, do you think I could get a blowjob? I was like, oh, to completion? No. Because I can't have sex yet. Right. Because I haven't had it looked at since birth. Yeah. I'm like, that just sounds like a lot of work.
It is work. So, and then, okay, so my other favorite story is, so after that night, you go back to the house in Miami, and somehow you just take off your clothes, but you leave your Louboutins on. Yeah. And you're chasing him, which just visually is like hilarious. Just imagine like a guy like scared of his naked girlfriend in Louboutins running around the house, and he tries to lock you out of the house.
He does lock me out of the house. Okay. So I, again, turn into the Hulk. And I just full force kick, like not kick, but like with your,
foot?
Yeah. Like knee up to the chest, push. Yeah. This window, and it's hurricane-proof glass, so it does this like shatter circle-ish type thing. Yeah, the woman comes, the owner of the house, the next day, and she's like, "What happened?" And we were like, "We have no idea, zero idea what happened." She goes, "This is a hurricane-proof window. Like, how did this happen?" And we're like, "Well, there's people that you can just jump up onto the dock and easily." Kick the window. We placed blame. The amount of homes that we've been banned from in Miami is mortifying.
But do you imagine, though, if there was like a ring light of that right now? Like someone was like, so I just happened to look at the security cameras. Like this naked body running around. Randall!
Yes, that's what it looked like. And he was terrified. And the thing is I don't remember kicking the window. Yeah. Obviously, I did. I remember walking around naked and getting locked out, but I definitely, like, blind rage. And he asked me, because I woke up and I was like, "Hi, baby. Boat time." And he was like, "Do you know what you did last night?" And I was like, "No." And he showed me the glass door.
Now, in those things, in those crazy stories and those crazy fights, would he ever, when times are good and you weren't drinking and you're like, oh my God, would he ever say, hey, can we like have a little plan of like 3-drink maximum or anything like that?
Well, we went to therapy, and this guy was like, you need to have a cap on your drinking. You have a 2-drink max. Okay. Well, how do you even gauge that? Well,
you just have 2 drinks.
Well, what is 2 drinks? What is 2 drinks? 2 shots?
I think 2 margaritas, 2 glasses of wine, 2 beers. That's
but what
2
if
drinks.
This margarita has a shit ton of alcohol in it, and I have 2 that's really like 8? It was like
still,
very
that
hard
would be
to
okay.
gauge.
Though 2 would still be good.
That's
then.
what I thought. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought.
Okay.
That did not work out.
Right.
Obviously. And it wasn't fun for him either, because I was like, if I'm going to have to do it, you're going to have to do it too. And we would look at each other and be like, this is really boring.
Yeah, he likes to drink too, but not like you. But he is a social
social drinker for sure.
It is hard. I do respect couples where when one goes sober and the other one can still enjoy wine and they can still have fun together. Because as a couple that drinks,
Right.
you know, we do act like codependent alcoholics. Like, we'll be like, after a weekend, we'll be like, okay, let's not drink, you know, because
Right,
it's always like
totally.
one person opens the bottle of wine and it's like, oh, I guess we're drinking now. And
So fun.
And so that type of, you know, is good. But now that he's the skipper, he's acting like he's like, you know, he's like, okay, you know, and I was good on the boat this weekend. I was good. Yeah, and there was another weekend I wasn't. But again, it kind of depends who you're with too. How much the other person's drink. You know, you're more boozy friends, and you know you're ones that are a little like, I'm good. Actually, can I have a water, babe? You're like, oh, all right, I guess we're having water. But like, you know, there's people that, and then sometimes you are like, you know, maybe I want to invite the less boozy friend.
Well, here's the thing. I put a cap on Randall with his drinking, and not because he gets buck wild, but because he gets really annoying.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, once you start tipping into that, like the voice starts changing and he becomes very needy, and I'm just like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
I'm in a room full of drunk people and you're like too on me.
Yeah, because it must be hard being that you're the sober one.
Yeah, well, when you hit that tipping point
Yeah.
of like, okay, now everyone's shit-faced.
Right.
No longer fun for me. But when everyone's in that, like, we're starting to drink and now we're buzzed and now we're drunk, totally fine. But when it gets where the voice is changing and you're repeater
Or
mode, you're on
really loud,
loop, I'm
really
like, I have
loud.
to get out. I'm going to crawl
You know, the
out of my
only
own
time
skin.
I'm in that situation is after a second show at a club,
Yeah.
and either the fans are there or I have friends that went to the show. So they've been drinking now for 4 hours, and
Oh,
I
shit.
don't drink when I perform.
Right.
And I need to go see them. I have to be with them, and it's like, oh wow, this is what it's like to be Lala.
Yeah. That's what it's like.
And I'm like, it's kind of hard because it's
It
like
is.
they should have fun. They should be drunk. They weren't doing 2 shows and 2 meet and greets.
No.
But I'm like, and then it's just, and it's, you know, yeah, it's the louder voices and all that, and you know, it is what it is.
The whole thing is, though, you can go out and drink and have a good time and you may annoy me, whatever. It's when, like, you start affecting my life in a negative way that I'm like, pull your shit together.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't
I just
really
have
care
some
if people
other
drink.
some other fun questions. Okay, so you start to date Randall, and you meet. Finally, you're texting for a while. You're in the movie The Row, which I saw. You were great in it. And then you have sex. And the next day he's like, hey, I have this Range Rover. Would you like to have it? So that's really nice. And you're like, sure. You give your mom your BMW. She's like, great. And then one day, along with a script change comes, oh, wait. Did the booties and the Chanel purse come before the bone or after?
Before the bone.
Okay, so when the Chanel purse and the ankle fringe Chanel booties come, here's my really important question.
Okay.
A, how did he know your shoe size?
How did he know my shoe size?
Yes.
Because I'm doing this film.
So he knew from wardrobe.
That's how he had my address as well. Because when I
Okay.
was having, which, by the way, now that I'm in movies, like, no one's delivering scripts to your house, right?
Right. No.
Especially to your apartment on Olympic Boulevard, right? So I should have known this, but I'm like, oh, he's like this big movie producer, and this is like how the big leaguers do it. So that's how he had my address, was because he was
Okay.
having scripts, and then wardrobe and things like that is how he knew shoe size and things like that.
Okay.
And
But then-
whenever he
yeah.
brought something to me like the Chanel bag, it was always like, I figured that this would look good for that event that you're going to, because we would text.
Right.
You know, we were
Oh.
texting every single day.
Okay. So my other question is, does he pick out the Chanel booties, or does he have a stylist and go, hey, what do you think would look good on this girl? What's the hot new thing? Like, how does he come up with booties?
No, Randall has excellent taste.
Okay.
Like, every gift that he's ever gotten me has been on point. And
So
And
he
I-
is picking it out.
he's picking it out.
Okay.
Yes.
That was my question.
Because the guys that he was employing then would not fucking know.
Okay.
Not at all. But he also has a mom who's like pretty bougie and she knows what's up. And I have Instagram. Like, you look at my Instagram and you're going to know, like, this girl doesn't look like she's going to wear Chanel flats.
Right.
She looks like she's going to wear Louboutin hooker boots.
Oh, got it.
You know?
Okay, that's good. And I love that your first date was at Tao in New York, because that's where my first date with Randall was, at Tao. Remember when he took us out all out to
Yes,
Tao?
that was so fun. Oh, we've had a lot of
We
fun
went
together.
to town.
I remember.
At the BravoCon. That was really funny. Okay, let me see what else we have. Oh, I love that you say that you think that only 12% heterosexual, hetero males follow you.
They do. I think that actually has gone down.
Really?
Yeah.
As
They're
as
just not
opposed-
into watching me like breastfeed my baby.
Yeah, yeah. But when you're talking about the DMs, okay, because Randall will get some hoe DMs.
Yeah,
some girls.
he gets hoe DMs.
And I want to talk a little bit about that because I love that he shows you, and everything. Peter gets some really great girls from Russia. They always are very interested.
Oh, a little 90-day fiance action.
Oh, yeah. They're
Sweet.
I get those same females, though. So I'm like, I don't think they really know who you are. But, now, what do you think about these girls that, really want Randall even more now because he's with you?
Well, for Randall, I always say, like, and I got this from my mom. It's like, if you think you can do better, like, go for it.
I'm not worried about Randall.
I'm not worried about it at all.
But what I kind of want to say to Randall when these people are DMing, it's like, they want, if you were to fuck them, they would go and say, I fucked Lala's man.
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, I fucked Randall. No, it's
right.
about you.
I know.
It's about you.
It's awesome.
And I feel the same way, like Chloe's bad luck. It's about Chloe. It
has nothing to do with him.
Yeah. It's like, and it's like these girls, I'm just like shocked. Like this breed of like young girls that they kind of like, they act like it's empowering and everything, but they're like specifically going after like real daddies that have a wife and like real guys that have, and it's just like a clout thing or just a notch on their belt. And I'm just like, girl, this karma's not going to work out for you in the end. This is not good karma. And I don't get the philosophy of why that's like hot to these women.
I think that it has everything to do with like becoming a known person. I think everyone, all these little thoughts are so into becoming well known.
Yeah.
And instead of just like putting in the work, they're just going to come up off of someone else.
Right.
And it's very depressing to watch. Like the new girl with Tristan, it's like, bitch, just shut the fuck up. Just like fall back. You know?
Yeah.
Not a good look.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, whatever, you did it, it's fine. But it's like, you're not accusing him of anything like illegal or bad.
No.
So, it's your story. You can tell it. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just sad. It's weird. But, that's the price you pay. But it's like, I just think girls are just like, when they are like the side piece and they're with a successful, beautiful woman, it's like, or any woman that, maybe not even famous. It's like something about like, you're married to her, this gorgeous, smart, successful, sweet, well-liked person, but you'd rather be with this, like, it's just like, but you're still coming here. And the guy, it's just like, they're just so dumb.
They're so
and their self-esteem is bad that they're probably like, if they do that, they're probably like, I don't deserve that. I actually deserve this loser that's DMing me. Yeah. And that's why I'm going to go be with this loser because I actually don't deserve this queen.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to look at it that way too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Gosh, you're spitting so much truth today.
Well, your book has a lot of really great truth, too, that I really love. The psychic thing.
Yeah, how strange is that?
So you had a psychic when you were 12. But you know what? I just want you to stop seeing. I think psychics, it's too in your head now.
Wait, why do you think that?
Because you kept this memory this whole time.
I've always had that in my memory. Always, because I could not believe it. I couldn't believe that this psychic knew that my grandmother always wore red lipstick right when she woke up and drank her coffee because her coffee was too hot. Yeah. Like she knew.
Did you ever be able
everything.
Can you find this weird psychic today?
She was so old.
Oh, then she's passed probably.
Yeah.
But she predicted like that you'd have a child of your own, that you'd have 2 other children that you didn't birth, which is your situation now.
Yes.
Which is
However,
cool.
she did say that this baby, the one baby I had, would be a boy. Mm-hmm. So, Ocean is not a boy.
I had a psychic who told me, I was 27, and she goes, "You'll be married before you're 30." And I'm like, there's
What?
no
That's-
way. I'm like, I haven't even met the guy yet. I just seemed like all my friends were always dating people for many years.
Okay.
So I was like, I don't think that'll happen. Okay. So then I get engaged and I tell my mom we're engaged and, and I think I told my mom we were going to get married before I actually got the ring.
Okay.
So the next day, my mom's like, well, I called the church and the country club. And the day, it's either this day or that. I thought it'll be too hot in July, but I thought May 27th. And won't that be nice? Then you'll get married before you're 30. Because my birthday was June 14th. And I was like, oh my God, I got married before I'm 30. But that same psychic said I would have a boy and a girl, and the girl would be like, we'd be like this. So when I was pregnant with my second child, I was like, it's a girl. It's a girl. The psychic told me it's a girl, it's a girl, it's a girl. And then I'm like, oh, it's a boy. Okay. And then I was like, oh, maybe the boy will be gay. Oh, won't that be great? And then the boy's not gay. And I'm like, the psychic was just
bullshit.
Saying
that you're going to get married before you're 30 is very broad.
I'm just saying, hey, I want to talk to anybody that got a reading in 2019.
Okay.
And they said, next year I just see you sitting home a lot. Nobody predicted the coronavirus. Not one. I don't know one person who went to a psychic and they said, you know what? I wouldn't book those plane tickets. I wouldn't plan that wedding. Why? Are we not in love? No. There's going to be a worldwide pandemic. Not one psychic predicted it. And if you actually have a psychic reading that did it, then that I want to see. But look, I like psychics. I think it's fun. I like mediums. I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I just sometimes think it does. It didn't affect any of your life decisions, so I'm okay with that. I just don't like when a psychic is like if you went to go see the psychic when you're dating Randall, and she's like, there's a guy, I see him, it's like a movie guy, and he's going to be really good for you, but he's not going to be your life partner. You are going to meet someone after that with a E name. And that guy, I had psychics that would do that to friends, and I was like, oh, that is the worst thing.
No, I don't like that either.
Yeah, I don't like
that either.
I don't like, that's why I get afraid when people go, because I'm like, if you're going to go, ask specific questions, but do not have them screw up some plan, whether it's like quit a job or this thing isn't going to work out, but this other thing is I don't like that, because I don't think it gets in your head. And
that would get in my head if a psychic was like, yeah, you may be really in love right now, but he's not the right guy. I would go home and be staring at him like, you're not the right guy.
So let's not go to psychics anymore. That's not really nice. After the worst thing he did to Randall, which is in the book, I cannot believe. I have to give you props for including this. So you were mad at him again for something, I don't know, breathing, telling you not to have a 12th drink. Just, whatever. And you took the toothbrush.
Yeah.
So you took the brush side of the toothbrush of his, and you stuck it up your butthole. You were able to get it in the butt?
Okay.
Or just around the butt?
Put it up my ass.
I didn't put it up and twirl it.
I put it
right
in
the crack. You scrolled it with the crack.
Where stuff comes out.
But you didn't stick it up like an enema.
Not like an enema.
Or a dildo or something. You just kind of just exfoliated your butthole with a toothbrush.
Yes.
Okay. And then you put it down.
Yeah. I put it down and I got in bed. And when he came out, because I had calmed down, and he came out and was brushing his teeth, staring at me, and I was laughing hysterically, and he was like, "What's so funny?" I was like, that toothbrush was in my asshole. And the look on his face. By the way, I always say now that it's over, I can laugh about it.
Well, it sounds like you were laughing at it then. You were laughing at it then, too.
I was fucked up then. I was drunk and stoned out of my mind.
Okay.
But again, just the look on his face was so just sad. That,
where did the toothbrush go?
Hopefully in the garbage.
Has he ever been afraid to leave his toothbrush in your presence since?
No,
not even in a really bad argument about shoes or something.
No.
He's not like, you know what, Lala, let me just go downstairs. And then he's just like, wait, hold on. Let me just get some important things like my toothbrush for later. Just because I don't know. I don't know how mad she might get at me.
No, his toothbrush has always been there. Yeah, I only did that once.
Okay. Here were some other juicy stuff.
By the way, there were so many moments that I just went the fuck off that I had to like pick the best ones.
Oh, really? There's a top 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Faith, I did not know that Faith was your friend and she told you that she had slept with Jax. And you knew before then from the scene that we saw.
Yeah. Faith and I were best friends, like besties. She was at my house every single day, slept over every night. We were like the only two we had.
You met at Sir.
Yes, when she started working there and I had just started working. And it was me, Faith, Max, Todd, and James. And we had the best time ever. So when I get good with the group, she calls me after it happened and was like, you know, I hooked up with Jax. And I was just shook beyond belief. And then when I heard there was audio, it was like, this is not good.
So how did you feel that the fact that she taped the audio and shared it? Then you knew her intention was not just a pure bone, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, you're taping it. And even if you didn't know you taped it.
No, I think she knew that she taped it, obviously.
So you're taping it, I think, just it's almost like a premeditated kind of thing. It was like, I'm going to have this on you.
Yeah, no, it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't feel right. And, you know, James, being the clown that he is, takes her phone and sends it to himself. And how I got stuck season 6 with that fucking audio on my phone to play is still like, I'm like, how
wait,
did
it was
that
on
happen?
your phone? How did it get on your phone?
Because I was like, I don't have it, James. And he goes, yes, you do. Look at your phone. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Oh, he sent it to you.
Yes. I was like, you're putting me in the worst position ever. Like, I don't want this. But at the end of the day, you realize where you are and there's cameras around. And even though this is real life, you have a fucking job to do, you know?
Oh.
I know. It was really not good.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is, okay, not everything works out the way you want it to in a relationship. And now Jax and Britt are happy. They're married. They have a baby. And who's to say that that moment, even though it was horrific, and Stassi and I have battled about this before because I've said to Brittany, you know, even though this was horrible, look at where you are now. And who's to say that you would be here if that didn't happen?
Well, it's like that was their relationship rock bottom.
Right.
Like
and
your
Stassi
rock
says that
bottom
didn't need to happen. And I'm like, you really don't know. I'm a firm believer in everything that has happened to you. You end up where you are because of all of those moments.
Yeah, I do too. I say, you know, you can have regrets. I never have any regrets. You might still have regrets, but
what is that?
Someone's calling me. Oh, that must be Brandon, I think. No. All right, whatever. But when might take years.
Right.
And you might be like, why did I storm out of that job? They're so stupid. I missed out on $100,000, whatever the case might be. But then it'll come one day, maybe it'll be 2 years from now, and you'll go, wait a minute. If that didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened, then this wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't have been here. And I always just tell people, like, you know, I believe in God, and like God has a plan, and or not necessarily a plan, but just have faith that it will work out. You can be sad in that moment. You can mourn it. You can be mad at yourself. You can have regrets. But trust me that there'll be a day when you wake up and go, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't. I mean, even the fact that, you know, they're not returning to the show, I bet they will have, I bet some other opportunity is going to happen. I mean, it looks like they're doing some HGTV show. You don't have to tell me if that's true.
I have no idea.
I have a great idea for a show for him.
Well, you should bring it to him.
I've already said it on the show, but, you know, whatever. I think you should redo man caves for new dads.
That is adorable, and I think he would thrive in that environment.
Yes.
Because everyone keeps saying, like, oh, but it's Jax Taylor. Jax Taylor, people don't realize what he's like when he's in his element.
I think he should be a recovering douche, now dad, out to help other recovering douches that are committed dads.
I love it.
And he helps them find the fun in the new life,
Right.
and not be sad that the other life is behind him, and find the good qualities and like make a man cave for them that's dad friendly.
That's so brilliant.
I know. Well, I told him come on my show, so I'll tell him. I really think, hey, HGTV, whoever, I give out ideas all day long. I don't really care. So just tell me really quick. The show is filming right
Yes.
now. And where are you with everybody? I know that you and Sheena had your issues, not on camera, with
Right.
back and forth podcasting stories. But now she's had her baby. Have you at all talked to her?
Yeah, we talk a lot of mom stuff. Obviously, we
good.
just started filming, so I don't want to give
Don't.
too much stuff away. A lot of people before we started filming would ask me what they can expect from the show, and I was like, I have no idea.
Right.
We've still fucking got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be entertaining and
yes.
fun. And now this other question is, Stassi's no longer on the show. If you were to have a party at your house or celebrate some Lala baby, and obviously you would invite Stassi, and I don't know if you can answer this or not. Can you have Stassi be at the party? Can she come to the party if it's being filmed?
I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't even know that I would put her in that situation because, she started this show.
Right.
And her...
I mean, I don't think she'd want to go, but I'm just
I don't
saying,
think she would
yeah,
either.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them would want to.
Right.
But I have no idea if I'd even be allowed to or not.
Right. Okay. I thought that was kind of a good question from a Juicy Scooper.
That's a great question.
Because I don't know.
Thinking about that is actually really sad if...
I know.
Oh.
But, I see. You'd like another prediction?
Yeah, give it to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if after this season you got, it's still strong and it has a different narrative of your different lives, but it's working because we're following your beauty line, we're following Sheena's life, we're following other, I wouldn't be surprised if they ask him back and they agree to come back, or at least if they get asked. That's my prediction, because I feel like it's a whole different person and it's a different time, and I think people are going to look back at what got her in trouble, and I think the public is going to feel differently than they did when it was, that
Right.
crazy time in history.
I wish that they would have used that moment as a teachable moment rather
Yeah.
than just let her go, because we're on a reality TV show. We show what is happening in our lives. I wish in that moment they would have picked cameras up and shown Stassi, who really did build this like basic
Yeah.
empire for herself, and what it was like to have to pay for all of these things that she's said and done in her past and basically lose everything. I wish that they would have shown that, it would have been a teachable moment.
You know what would have been amazing too is if, in hindsight, like if she would have gotten her own crew in there to film it and be like, I'm going to document this. But I mean, at the time, you don't know what you're going through. But like, yeah, I talked about that with Justin, who's on the E! News show. And I was just like, I was like, I just want to see it, because to me, that's just really, really interesting. And isn't that what it's all about? It's like just opening up people's eyes and seeing it from a different perspective. And, but like, I mean, she's doing great. I knew there'd be like a dip, but I know like she's going to do fine. She's going to do great. She's going to do something else, whatever that might be. But if it was to come back on the show, I just wouldn't be surprised if she does. And it's okay. Like it's okay with
Right.
everybody. Like,
I think she has a beautiful heart. I don't think that she possesses hate. I think she says stupid things, or has in her past, as
Right.
we all have. And I think people, and she's working on herself, which
Yeah.
a lot of people pretend, and I can vouch for the fact that she's done a lot of self-work.
yeah.
And I could see that happening for her too, because when you're a good human being, I think good things happen to you.
Yeah. I want to just talk about one juicy thing before we leave, because if I don't talk about it, people freak out. Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta just announced last night that she is engaged to this man They've only been dating a month. She's a big ass diamond. But the man was featured this season as Phelan's husband. They got divorced and somehow they started dating. And the world is going crazy. Like, people are talking more about this than J-Lo and Ben Affleck hooking up in Big Sky.
What is this caption? Why is it? Who has time to read that, let alone write it? You know.
Well, she wrote it.
Well, it is
so
long.
And she says, so she.
What's the gist? Have you read this? What's the gist of it?
Okay, so the gist is, she says, okay, you need the facts. Now, she has a baby with someone else. They never got married. They're engaged. He cheated on her, back and forth. She says he was divorced from Phelan, or the relationship was done before they picked it up. She was never friends with Phelan. Phelan was featured in the show. She was this much younger woman than this man, but we saw them. She had like a pool party. We saw them together. He was at the house on another night when she was there. I never saw any interaction with them. And so people are kind of freaking out. But then she goes, Phelan and I were never friends. And my baby daddy, Dennis, and him are committed to being co-parents with me.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful life, and we're going to spend our lives together. And it's just like shocking because it's literally they've been dating a month. I mean, she doesn't deny that they've been dating a month, and they're engaged. And he's an older guy, and he's obviously been married several times.
So that would have been, when would the season just wrapped? So when did they start filming last? Last year around this time? Is that what it would have been?
Well, the last time that Phelan was still with him,
right,
was at a Halloween party they had at his house.
Right, so but that was when it aired. So when do we think that was taped? Because that's how you get the proper guy.
No, it didn't air. I'm saying it didn't.
Oh, it didn't air.
No, it did air, but I'm saying it was shot. I know it was Halloween, so we know it was.
Oh, it was a Halloween party. Okay,
that was
October,
the last
and they just
time.
Came out.
That was the last time we saw this girl Phelan, who at the time was currently still married to this guy.
You know
what?
So
between Halloween and yesterday,
right,
she divorced him. He was a free man. He met Portia. They fell in love, got engaged, and we found out today.
Wow. As much as I want to like sit here and from an outsider be like, that's messy, I know what it's like where you know the ins and outs of how it happened.
Right.
And as an outsider, people are like, whore, messy, homewrecker, and it doesn't feel good. So I now get the caption why she felt she needed to explain herself.
Right.
And they probably are a little match made in heaven, and it was a whirlwind, and they're happy as ever, and she shouldn't have to like explain herself.
Well, then he explained himself in like a live or something, and he hinted that it was actually Phelan who maybe had stepped out on the marriage. They had only been married a year and a half, so I don't know.
They'd only been married a year and a half?
Him with the Phelan girl.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a mistake marriage or whatever in between. One of the girls screamed at her that she had like, I guess, a couple different baby daddies. So I don't know about Phelan. I'm not saying that reflects on her badly. She wasn't at the reunion. They had like a lot of extra girls that just like were in it that had very small parts.
They would see who would fit.
There was this other girl that never showed up for the reunion either. So anyway, it's juicy, but nothing is as juicy as Lala Kent's book. And you get the book, read it. I know you did an audio. People really love the audio. I'm telling there's so many fun, juicy stories. I only like touched on a few little highlights throughout the book. You will have a good time reading it. And then lots of little bits of wisdom as well that I think is kind of good. And some real heartfelt moments and, about your dad passing and other things that you went through in your life that I really loved, that vulnerability. So it just has it all. And then, of course, check out the beauty line and the baby line.
Yes, I just name everything, give them Lala now.
Would you be mad? I'm coming up with a tour name for myself if I just called it Give Them Heather
No,
Tour.
I would love it. Do it. Please.
Come on.
I swear
you don't
to God,
think that Give Me Lala people going to come after me and want to kill me for stealing?
No, I think it's awesome. There's actually an Instagram account called Give Them Kamala. Is that how you say her name, or is it Kamala Harris? Kamala?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Instagram name. And it's fucking awesome. They follow me.
Okay,
and I'm like,
so I'm
going to
do. I'm thinking about we also like Double Scoop, just to stick with the theme.
Okay.
But the Give Them Heather tour, because I posted a video of me dancing at the montage in a very short dress. My kids were not there, but if they had been there, I would have still danced. And when I saw it the next day, I was like, body's not that great. Like, I don't love the dress. but this is fucking funny, and I know my people are going to love it. And I said, you know, what would Lala do? And I said, Lala would give them Lala. And I am going to give them Heather on Mother's Day. I don't want to post this thing because that's what Jesus would do. Jesus thinks I'm a hoot. I can dance. A lot of people can't dance.
You are a hoot. And can I tell you,
So-
if you could be anything in the world, I think being funny and making people laugh, that's what I want people to say about me. Is like, she is a good time.
Good time.
I'm happy you posted it.
So Give Them Heather tour is going to begin soon. No, I don't know if we're going to call it that, but I kind of like it.
I hope
so
you do.
weigh in on it. But seriously, get the book. It's really, really good. Follow Lala. Get the book. I'm telling you, it's a fun, juicy read. I haven't heard one person say they didn't like it.
That
Really.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
It's an easy read. I know everyone's shocked that I'm not Shakespeare, but yeah.
But
I'm
it's
glad
still
people
no.
like
I
it.
still think you did a really good job.
Thank
did you
you.
enjoy the process, or was
Yes. No, I
you did
loved
like
it.
Do you think you'll want to do more?
I would love, if I don't make the sellers list, I'll be kind of bummed out, and
You're
it'll take
gonna
me a
make
minute
it.
to
You're
not
gonna
feel
make it.
wounded.
Yeah.
But yes, I would do it again.
You're gonna make it. I know you are.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
So, you guys, after that great interview, Lala and I are good friends, and we started talking about another thing that was mentioned in the book that added to a larger conversation. And I asked if I could actually share that, and could I share it on Patreon? And she said, absolutely. And I thought that'd be perfect because it is an intimate, kind of more personal story, and I feel more comfortable sharing it there. So you go to heathermcdonald.net, you click on Patreon, and for about a cost of one latte a month, you're going to get an episode of Juicy Scoop with all the juiciest stuff every Friday, every single Friday, commercial free. Check it out and have a wonderful week.